Ever since Anthony Edwards entered the NBA, people have been talking loud about him. Not the usual rookie hype that fades after a few big games, but real attention from players, coaches, and legends across the league. This isn't only about scoring points anymore. It's about his energy, his confidence, and the way he completely changes the vibe of a game the second he steps on the court. NBA veterans are starting to look at Ant differently now, and that says a lot.
What was the experience like of being on the team with him and having like that sort of like exuberant basketball energy all the time, which is very similar to the way that you've always approached it?
Man, it's just like getting in a time machine, man, because the way Ant acted towards me was sort of the way I acted towards Kobe back in 2012, where it's just like a slight hint of like competition because we played each other in the playoffs.
They're realizing this dude isn't built like everybody else. He's not just another rising star putting up highlights. He plays with a level of fearlessness that almost feels rare in today's game.
But it's always gonna be respect there and love there, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like me and Ant always found our way around each other on the bus, on the train, in the locker room, just talking life, talking hoop, just anything random, you know what I'm saying? And it just felt like he came up in kind of the same environments I came up in, and he had to go through the same struggles as trying to make it as I did, you know? So we resonated on that level. And it was most of the time we didn't even talk about what we went through or all that stuff. It's just like the conversation we had was easy. So it was fun being around him.
The way he attacks defenders, talks with confidence, and takes over huge moments has people seriously wondering if the league already belongs to him. Anthony Edwards isn't simply becoming a superstar. People are starting to view him as the future face of the NBA. And when basketball legends start talking this strongly about a player, the rest of the league better pay attention fast, because what they're seeing from Ant doesn't look normal. He's not just different from other young stars or top scorers. Some people honestly believe he's bringing a mix of old-school toughness and modern skill that the NBA has never fully seen before. In this video, we're diving into what NBA legends and current stars are saying about one of the most dangerous young players in basketball today. And once you hear these reactions, you'll understand why so many people think Anthony Edwards is becoming impossible to stop. If there's anybody who understands dominance, it's Shaquille O'Neal, a four-time NBA champion, MVP, and one of the most unstoppable forces the game has ever seen.
Ant, man, he's special, he's different. And that's on and off the court. Like, he's him no matter what type of situation he's in. Like, he's gonna smile, he's gonna impress you in so many different ways. So it's like, you know, to see him come into his own, he's in his third year now, I believe. So to see him to come into his own in such a quick time is crazy, man. This is like, I've been with him all 3 of his years, and each year has been a step towards growth, and he's going to be, I think, a great leader on this team.
So when Shaq gives somebody major praise, people listen immediately. But this wasn't some regular compliment either. Out of every current NBA player, Shaq said Anthony Edwards is the player he would want to team up with the most. Think about how scary that combo would have been. Shaq bullying defenders inside while Ant explodes all over the floor with speed and power? That sounds unfair already. And Shaq didn't stop there. He pointed directly at Ant's mentality, the toughness, the aggression, the confidence, the non-stop pressure. Ant plays with that same dog mentality that made Shaq such a nightmare for opponents. But at the same time, he combines it with elite handles, explosive athleticism, deep shooting range, and highlight-level skill every single night.
Most impressive guy I've ever seen.
In the league?
I mean, besides, we'll say LeBron and Steph, you can't. Or anyone you were just like, you didn't expect, like, you're like, damn, this guy can ball, or, yo, this fool's athletic.
I think probably Anthony Edwards, bro.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I remember that series in Denver, or was that last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah. He's tough.
It's almost like Anthony Edwards was built from different eras of basketball all at once. He's got old-school physicality mixed with today's flashy skill game, and that combination has people shocked around the league. And if hearing it from a retired legend isn't enough, current superstars are saying the same thing. Because watching Ant on TV is one thing. Standing on the court with him is a completely different experience. Kevin Durant has always been Anthony Edwards' favorite player and biggest inspiration. But when the Timberwolves crushed the Suns in the playoffs a few years ago, Ant didn't look nervous at all. He attacked the series head-on and completely stole the spotlight, even while facing his own idol.
What is Anthony Edwards' ceiling? Because to me, I called his game Friday night. I feel like partially because I think he is already a good defender. I think he can be a great defender, a phenomenal two-way player along the lines of Kevin Durant or Giannis, or I think Tatum's an elite two-way player. I think he's, potentially a guy we talk about as being a top 5 player. And to be a top 5 player, you essentially have to be good enough to be the guy on a championship team. I think he's potentially that good.
I literally said top 5 player in my head.
Then came the Olympics, where KD finally got the chance to play alongside Ant instead of against him. And after winning gold together, Durant had a lot to say about what makes Anthony Edwards so special. Every NBA generation has that passing the torch moment. Michael Jordan handed it to Kobe Bryant. Kobe eventually passed that spotlight to LeBron James. Those moments don't happen often, and usually they take years before everybody fully accepts them. But with Anthony Edwards, people around the league are already starting to see it happen right in front of them. What makes this situation even crazier is how young Ant still is. Most players spend years trying to earn respect from NBA legends. But Edwards already has some of the biggest names in basketball speaking about him. He's next in line to take over the sport. And honestly, it feels like he's only getting started. Kevin Durant didn't even need to break down Ant's entire game because the highlights already explain everything. The explosive dunks, the confidence in clutch moments, the fearless attitude against elite teams, it all speaks loud on its own. But when KD starts mentioning Anthony Edwards in conversations connected to Kobe Bryant, that grabs everybody's attention immediately.
So that's what I see him as. And it's funny you mentioned that. And I'm gonna bring up my welcome to the NBA moment. And sadly, it's from a guy that's younger than me, which is crazy. But we're playing Minnesota there. This is probably game 2 of my rookie year. And Anthony Edwards, this is third quarter. They're on a little bit of a run. And Anthony Edwards is coming full speed down the right side of the court. And I'm telling my teammate to cut him. So you mean when you cut him off in transition, it makes him change direction so I can go time it up for a block.
You don't casually compare players to Kobe unless you truly believe they have something special inside them. And then there's Draymond Green, one of the toughest voices in basketball. Draymond might not always be flashy, but when it comes to recognizing winning players, people respect his opinion for a reason. This is somebody who built a career around championships, defense, leadership, and doing whatever it takes to win games. From all-star appearances to Defensive Player of the Year awards to multiple NBA titles, Draymond has shared the floor with some of the greatest players the sport has ever seen. So when he speaks highly about Anthony Edwards, that praise hits differently. Draymond sees something in Ant that reminds him of true competitors, the kind of players who don't back down from pressure and actually want the biggest moments. And honestly, this season has given people plenty of proof already. One perfect example came during that Timberwolves matchup against the Nuggets. Anthony Edwards kept Minnesota alive the entire night and completely shifted the energy of the game when things looked rough early on. At the end of the first quarter, the Timberwolves were down 9 points, and most people were already leaning toward Denver winning comfortably. The odds had Minnesota sitting way behind. But if you've watched Ant closely this season, the game is never fully over when he's attacking like that. As the second quarter went on, the Timberwolves flipped the entire momentum fast. Minnesota stormed back, took control of the game, and suddenly walked into halftime with an 8-point lead instead. The Nuggets looked stunned while Ant kept pushing the pace and putting pressure on the defense every trip down the floor. The momentum didn't stop there either. Minnesota carried that same energy into the third quarter and kept the lead heading into the fourth. It was one of those games where you could physically feel the confidence growing possession after possession. That's what separates Anthony Edwards from a lot of young stars right now. He doesn't panic when things start bad. He keeps attacking, keeps talking, keeps competing, and eventually forces the game to shift his way. That mentality is exactly why legends around the NBA are starting to believe he could be the next player to truly run the league. Polymarket gives you the chance to react while the game is still happening, and that's why so many people are paying attention to it right now. Instead of sitting there hoping a bet survives until the final buzzer, you can actually move with the momentum of the game in real time. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. Now back to Anthony Edwards, because the conversation around him keeps getting bigger every single season. People talk about his confidence, his mentality, and his superstar potential all the time. But once you really focus on his actual game on the court, things get even crazier. Anthony Edwards is pulling off moves and combinations that honestly don't look normal sometimes. The power, the speed, the footwork, the shot creation, it all comes together in a way that makes defenders look helpless. And when elite players around the league start praising his skill set this heavily, that tells you everything. Paul George, one of the smoothest and most respected players in the NBA, gave Ant major praise too. And when somebody with PG's talent starts talking highly about your game, people notice immediately. PG broke down the exact reason Anthony Edwards is becoming such a problem for the league. It's the mix of finesse, athleticism, and raw skill all blended together. Ant can overpower defenders one play, then hit a smooth jumper the next, then explode past everybody for a highlight dunk right after that. Very few players in NBA history have been able to combine all those things at such a high level this early in their career. That's why so many people believe his ceiling is terrifying. But Paul George also pointed towards something even bigger than talent, the mindset. Because there are plenty of gifted players in the NBA, but not everybody has that killer confidence that separates stars from true franchise leaders. You can clearly see the Kobe Bryant influence in Anthony Edwards sometimes. He believes in his teammates, but at the same time, he carries himself like he knows he can take over any game on the floor. That balance between confidence and leadership is a huge reason why players respect him already. What's wild is that people constantly talk about Ant. He's been in the league for 10 years already. Even though he's still young, he carries himself with the calmness and confidence of a veteran. At the same time, he still brings the energy, excitement, and explosiveness of a young superstar trying to dominate every night. And honestly, some of his teammates saw this coming years ago. Naz Reid spoke highly about Edwards nearly 3 years back, long before all the playoff runs and superstar conversations really exploded. Even back then, teammates could tell Ant was different. His leadership already mattered to the Timberwolves early in his career, and now it's become one of the biggest reasons Minnesota looks so dangerous this season. The team feeds off his confidence and aggression every single game. What makes this even scarier for the league is that rivals are saying the same thing. Michael Porter Jr. admitted how impressive Anthony Edwards has become, and that says a lot considering how much talent exists across the NBA right now. A lot of players have already experienced what fans call playoff Ant, and once they face him in a high-pressure series, the respect level changes fast. That's why when analysts like JJ Redick and players like Trey Murphy start talking about where Anthony Edwards could be in just a few years, people are listening very closely. The scary part about Anthony Edwards is that it still feels like he hasn't fully unlocked everything yet. That's what has NBA players and analysts talking so crazy about him right now. Most young stars show flashes here and there, but Ant already looks comfortable carrying huge playoff expectations while still improving every season. And when you really break down his game, it becomes obvious why defenders hate matching up against him. He's too strong for smaller guards, too quick for bigger defenders, and way too confident to back down from superstar matchups. One possession, he's hitting a deep three right in somebody's face, and the next, he's flying to the rim like nobody can stop him. What really separates Anthony Edwards from other young stars is the fearlessness. A lot of players wait their turn in the NBA. Ant doesn't play like that at all. He talks with confidence, attacks the biggest names in basketball head-on, and genuinely looks like he believes he's the best player on the court every night. That mentality changes everything for a franchise. Even former players are starting to say the league hasn't seen this kind of combination in a long time. The athleticism reminds people of past legends, the confidence feels old school, and the skill set matches exactly where today's NBA is headed. That's why so many people think he could become the next global superstar of basketball, and the Timberwolves know it too. You can see how much the team feeds off his energy during games. When Ant gets fired up, the entire arena changes. Big dunks, trash talk, clutch shots, huge defensive plays. He brings emotion every single night, and fans love players who compete like that. What's even crazier is how fast the respect around the league keeps growing. Veterans are praising him. Superstars are praising him. Analysts keep putting him into bigger conversations every year. At this point, it's not about whether Anthony Edwards can become one of the faces of the NBA anymore. People are starting to wonder how soon he'll completely take over the league for himself. Anthony Edwards has officially entered that top 5 player conversation, and now people around the NBA are starting to think even bigger. Because if Ant made this kind of leap in just a couple seasons, what happens over the next 2 or 3 years? That's the part that has fans, analysts, and even NBA players looking shocked right now. And Trey Murphy said something that really explains how different Edwards is. His true welcome to the NBA moment came from somebody younger than him. Think about how rare that sounds. Most young players are supposed to learn from older superstars, but Ant walked into the league already playing with the confidence and pressure of a seasoned veteran. That's what makes him stand out from everybody else. Anthony Edwards somehow plays with old-school experience, while still bringing the energy, emotion, and swagger of a young superstar every single night. The personality, the trash talk, the fearless attitude, it all feels natural with him. Nothing about his game looks forced. And when you really listen to NBA players talk about Ant, you start realizing something important. They're not speaking about him like he's just another all-star. The conversations are becoming much bigger than that now. Some players honestly believe he could end up being one of the greatest talents the league has ever seen. The athleticism looks unreal. The explosiveness jumps off the screen. 1 second he's attacking the rim with insane power, and the next he's drilling tough jumpers like a cold-blooded scorer. Add in the confidence and killer mentality, and it's easy to understand why defenders struggle so much trying to slow him down. At just 24 years old, Edwards already looks polished in almost every area of the game. People see flashes of Kobe Bryant's mentality in the way he approaches pressure moments. Others see hints of old-school Jordan-style aggression mixed with modern scoring skill, and when his shot starts falling consistently, he becomes almost impossible to guard. Anthony Edwards doesn't need outside validation to believe in himself. That confidence has always been there. But when praise starts coming from NBA champions, MVPs, Hall of Famers, and respected veterans, it means something different. Those guys recognize greatness because they've lived it themselves. And that's why the conversation around Ant feels so massive right now. This isn't about waiting for him to arrive anymore. A lot of people believe Anthony Edwards is already becoming the face of the NBA in real time, and the legends around the game are finally starting to say it out loud. Now the big question is whether you believe it too. Can Anthony Edwards become the future MVP, the face of the league and the leader of a championship team? Or do you think the hype train is moving too fast? Either way, one thing feels clear already. The best version of Ant-Man still hasn't arrived yet, and that should have the entire NBA paying attention.